Welcome all. This is a video on Sustainable Development Goal 12, that is responsible consumption and production, and how it can be achieved in Sundargarh district of Odisha. Consumption and production, a driving force of the economy, rest on the use of the natural environment and resources in a way that continues to have destructive impacts on the planet. Economic and social progress over the last century has been accompanied by environmental degradation, that is, endangering the very systems on which our future development, indeed our very survival, depends. We are currently consuming more resources than ever, exceeding the planet's capacity for generation. In the meantime, waste and pollution grow, and the gap between rich and poor is widening. Health, education, equity, and empowerment are all adversely affected. Sustainable consumption and production refer to the use of services and related products which respond to basic needs and bring a better quality of life while minimizing the use of natural resources and toxic materials, as well as the emissions of waste and pollutants over the life cycle of the service or product so as not to jeopardize the needs of future generations. It is about doing more and better with less. It is also about decoupling economic growth from environmental degradation, increasing resource efficiency, and promoting a sustainable lifestyle. It can also contribute substantially to poverty alleviation and the transition towards low carbon and green economies. Ensuring sustainable consumption and production practices necessarily entails respecting the biophysical boundaries of the planet and to reduce current global consumption rates to fit with the biophysical capacity to produce ecosystem services and benefits. Sustainable Development Goal 12 encourages more sustainable consumption and production patterns through various measures, including specific policies and international agreements on the management of materials that are toxic to the environment. The United Nations has defined 11 targets and 13 indicators for Sustainable Development Goal 12. Targets specify the goals and indicators represent the metrics by which the world aims to track whether these targets are achieved. The targets are 1. Implement the 10-year Sustainable Consumption and Production Framework. 2. Sustainable management and use of natural resources. 3. Have global per capita food waste. 4. Responsible management of chemicals and waste. 5. Substantially reduce waste generation. 6. Encourage companies to adopt sustainable practices and sustainability reporting. 7. Promote sustainable public procurement practices. 8. Promote universal understanding of sustainable lifestyles. 9. Support developing countries' scientific and technological capacity for sustainable consumption and production. 10. Develop and implement tools to monitor sustainable tourism. 11. Remove market distortions that encourage wasteful consumption.
Sustainable Development Goal 12 in India. India, the fourth largest emitter of greenhouse gases, is committed to reducing its emission by 1/4 and has prepared numerous sustainable consumption and production plans that are put in mainstream priority. India has implemented 10-year Sustainable Development Consumption and Production Framework, which consists of 6 programs: Sustainable Public Procurement, Consumer Information for SCP, Sustainable Tourism, Sustainable Lifestyle and Education, Sustainable Buildings and Constructions, and Sustainable Food System. SDG 12 focuses on reducing per capita global food waste by 2030. About 50 kg of food is wasted per person per year in India, as highlighted by United Nations Education Program in 2021 report. The government has undertaken National Program for Dairy Development and implemented National Food Security Act to achieve this target. The Annapurna scheme is undertaken to provide rice to destitute citizens who are above the age of 65 free of cost. Implementation of public distribution services also helps in achieving the objective of SDG 12. The Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana (PKVY), launched in 2015, is an extended component of soil health management under centrally sponsored scheme CSSS, National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture (NMSA). The Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana aims at supporting and promoting organic farming, in turn resulting in the improvement of soil health. Green public procurement is a policy instrument that directs conventional procurement process towards the purchase of products, services, and works that have a low environmental impact throughout their entire life cycle. This implies the development of scientific and easily verifiable criteria based on life cycle approach that can be included in procurement guidelines. The Government of India launched the Pilgrimage, Rejuvenation and Spiritual Augmentation Drive scheme in 2014-15 under the Ministry of Tourism and Promote Sustainable Tourism. The Swachh Bharat mission launched by the Union government is another undertaking that has moved us forward concerning this SDG.
SDG 12 in Odisha. Odisha government has implemented several steps in addition to the ones initiated by the Union government. These include 1. Promotion of sericulture industries under the Handlooms, Textile and Handcrafts Department. 2. Food storage and warehousing procurement operation support system and supply of rice at ₹1 under the Food Supply and Consumer Welfare Department. 3. Backyard poultry rearing, layer farming in deep litter and genetic UP gradation of small animals under the Fisheries and Animal Resources Development Department. 4. Solid waste management under the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And 5. A new tourism policy that promotes ecotourism and critical gap funding, development and management of tourist infrastructure and publicity of tourism under the Department of Tourism. Sundargarh district is the second largest district in Odisha, located in the northwestern part of Odisha. This district shares border with Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand. The town of Sundargarh is the district headquarters and Rourkela is the largest city in the entire district. Agriculture is the major means of livelihood, with paddy being the principal crop of the district. Other crops like berry, groundnut, vegetables, fruits, spices, etc. are also grown. The local government body of Sundargarh district has successfully implemented all the steps taken by the state and union government, but the district is still far away from achieving the goal of responsible consumption and production. So, keeping this situation in mind, let us look at some of the policy measures that can bring about a positive change.
Sundargarh district is one of the top waste generating districts in Odisha, but till now there hasn't been a satisfactory solution for its management. Thus, it's not too wrong to say that Sundargarh has a very long way to achieve the target 12.4 of SDG 12, which is responsible management of chemicals and wastes. So, the first policy that we would like to present is made as a solution for this situation. This policy involves the collection of plastic waste from households, institutions, street vendors, etc., and its management under the supervision of local government. In addition to this, a user fee can be charged like tax and dues and can be collected from the households, institutions, street vendors, and organizers of the public events for the same. The fees should be paid by each flat in apartments and each house in residential areas. The fees for shops, establishments, street vendors, and catering units can be varied depending on the amount of waste generated. A basic user fee will be set for those who organize public events. Now, to implement this policy successfully, we need an efficient system. For this, an environment support group can be formed under the local government, which can be responsible for the collection of management and of plastic waste and the collection of user fees. The waste can be collected in a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly manner, and the user fee can also be collected at the same time. In order to prevent the fraudulent activities regarding the fee collection, a receipt with the stamp of the local body should be provided while collecting the user fee.
Sundargarh can be considered as an industrial hub due to the abundance of mining industries in the district. These industries act as a major source of pollution. This points us towards achieving the target 12.6, which is encouraging companies to adopt sustainable practices and sustainability reporting. Our second policy measure focuses on this target of SDG 12. By demarcating industries based on the amount of pollution they cause, pollution can be controlled up to a certain extent. Responsible production is one way by which consumption can be made responsible. So, making products in a sustainable way with the least pollution will help in the longer run. A way to achieve this is by giving ratings for industries based on the amount of pollution they produce. For example, those industries with the least pollution can be given 5 stars and then the rest with 4 stars and so on. Now, to implement this policy, subsidies can be provided for the top rated industries so that it would encourage them to maintain their rating as well as motivate other industries to follow a similar path of production with lesser waste so that they can produce pollution. Penalties should be charged from those with higher waste production. Clean drives can be regularly organized, and also checking by officials would help in keeping waste production at a lower rate. Awareness to be given to workers as well as industry owners regarding reducing waste production and also helping them with methods that can be implemented at lower cost like composting, segregation, etc. shall be implemented. Sundargarh was earlier unstable in terms of food security but has since progressed to a moderately insecure state in the same, and this is what we are looking in policy measure number 3. The district is an agriculture dependent land. The net zone area for agricultural activities is 29% of the total land area. These food shortages are mainly targeted on the SC/ST group of the district. Sundargarh ranks third in the proportion of SC/ST people, and because of this, the state government has implemented policies that will establish special welfare programs for objectives and SC/ST groups. Sundargarh has also been included in the NFSA. The NFSA aims to ensure people's access to adequate quantity of quality food at affordable prices through public distribution system. In Sundargarh district, the total number of beneficiaries covered under the NFSA is about 15 lakhs, which is about 72% of the total population. Apart from these, certain other steps can also be taken by the government to counter the problem of food shortage. The government can promote horticulture farming and promote dry land crop farming. Sundargarh is a hot and dry land with temperature rising over 50 degrees. The using of dry land farming will boost the crop production to a considerable scale. For this, the government should take a census of moist level of dry lands and make an expert team to teach the farmers about how to use the barren land to its maximum potential. Government can also provide rations and promote poultry in every house in exchange of dry crops provided at Sundargarh. Thus, food insecurity can be controlled by mutual exchange of food resources, and poultry can control protein deficiency in each house. The agricultural techniques in Sundargarh district have been traditional, and these has not been much of an advance in these. Because of this, despite the increase of human labor, the production has not increased to a large scale. A solution for this is the implementation of smart agriculture. The term smart agriculture refers to the usage of technologies like Internet of Things, sensors, location systems, robots, and artificial intelligence on your farm. The ultimate goal is increasing the quality and quantity of the crops while optimizing the human labor used. Though the implementation of such high level of technology is still not a feasible solution in Sundargarh district, some of the things that the government can do are making of climate control and manage greenhouse. By controlling the environment in the greenhouse, certain crops that cannot be grown on the outside can be grown in greenhouse. Technologies such as soil sensors can be brought to analyze the soil and adapt appropriate techniques for growing crops there. Sustainable consumption uses services and related products that respond to basic needs and bring people a better quality of life. This type of consumption minimizes the use of natural resources and toxic materials. It reduces polluting emissions of waste over the life cycle of the service or product so as not to risk future generation needs. Education is crucial to achieving Sustainable Development Goal 12. From early childhood care and education, at this time, the concept of the 4 R's can be introduced. That is, reduce, reuse, recycle, and recover through the reusing of box or plastic bottles during play. In this way, good habits regarding wastewater and energy use are developed from an early age. Computation and comparison of environmental impact are presented at the primary educational stage. Children participate in recycling, composting, and other environmental programs, and they may make educated purchase selections based on the product's lifetime effects. Also, public awareness regarding responsible consumption production can be done through medias.
Now let's discuss the fifth policy. The Sundargarh district has an oppressive wet season, and the weather forecast shows that the maximum temperature goes over by 43 degrees centigrade and an average temperature like this maintained over the summer. So, the solar energy resources can be used efficiently rather than coal in mining industries, as the usage of coal as a source of energy is not being promoted by the government anymore. So, if the factories run on solar power, then it would be a stepping stone for a sustainable resource management, and we can achieve these goals by Step 1. If the factories can set up a rotating solar inverter to harness solar energy during the time of power failures, this reduces the dependency of coal. Step 2. The government can collaborate with the manufacturers of the solar panels to produce and distribute panels to the factories and households at a lower cost. Steps 3. The government can set up a solar power station to produce and store electricity and can introduce households to solar cookers and solar stoves at a subsidiary rate.